right, good morning. Happy New Year on the 2nd of January 2019. We've got about 10 seconds, 5 seconds to the open. And we're off and running. Please, please, please let the markets open and stabilize somewhat. All right. Bangladesh. I was at Han Air Base over there on the other side of the Hunsrück in 75 to 77. Good morning, Stu. Happy New Year, everyone. Let's watch and see what Mr. Tesla does. She's on the list. We're going to get some bargain hunters here. Apple gap way down with the markets. Let's see what the spider does here and here. VIX way up around almost 50. 50 in the VIX. VXX, I mean. The VIX is up at 28. All right, so Tesla. She's bouncing here. It got down to right at on the daily chart. Tesla gapped down to the volatility stop around 303.25. What was the low of the day? 304. Long one Tesla put. January's $18.75 to Jan. That's what I was looking at on the chart there. I am long the January 9th, 2019 $310 put. and I'm out $100 on Tesla. It'll probably go a lot higher than what I sold it for. I was out at 1975, in at 1875. Okay. It's already up to $21. Could have been my home run for the week, huh? Just wanted to take, meter drop. Oh, I got filled at $20, not 1975. Oh, I love it. Got a price improvement. Thank you, Mr. Toss. All right. Okay. Steve Reisner may help you. I'm doing all right. I'm on the radio, but I'm muted it for a second. Can we make it quick? Okay. Mm. Oh yeah, she's allergic to the world. Okay. Right. Well, no, when we have to go through the 2 weeks worth of yeah, on antibiotics. She's doing very well on that. She's taking it. I put it in her food bowl. She eats anything in there. All right, she's a good girl, really good girl, and it's not weeping necessarily so much, but it definitely needs to be dealt with. Uh, all right, and then the one thing that I would like to ask is, um, I mean, you talked about sending it off the mass once you do to have a lab work done on it to to make sure. I guess it just. Well, and that's that. Yeah, that's where I'm going because if we find out that we didn't get it, then it goes on and on and on. I'm not sure. Uh, I'm have to think about it. I'll talk to my wife. I'm not talking to my daughter or son about it. Okay. But yeah, because we get I'm thinking of what if we really think that it's probably benign, right? And then if it most likely yes, but never mind. We got it. We're not sure, and I don't know. And if we do find that we either didn't get it all or we have to have other treatments, it's nonstop. Where do you want? Yes. Okay. Well, I'll talk to the family. My wife will be back tomorrow, and it'll be plenty of time for us to discuss it and get. I'll know at the time of the surgery. All right, and thank you very much for your help and happy New Year. Bye. I know it sounds bad. Okay, folks, I'm back. Sorry. Hey, Stalker. Um, Maybe George. George, I chose Tesla because it tends to move quite a bit, and Tesla missed its delivery and gap down. And I figured that if we look at the Tesla chart, let me bring this up real quick. I said real quick, but TC2000 is having trouble starting. Okay, there it is. So, what it was based upon the news event. It gapped down to say 305, and I figured a good target would probably be 295. Now, did I have the cojones to stick with it that much? No. I just I took a quick $100 in about what, less than a minute, and I figured it round number around 300 on that price it might bounce. So you know, there we are bouncing. It looks like on the 5 minute, the 3 minute, kind of did a zigzag. But yes, I might enter again on a retracement. It all depends on how we get set up. Actually, if it gets over here and gets over the volatility stop, I actually might go long. But we'll see. With the volatility the way it is, in all the other markets, we could probably get others to do okay here, like Eaple. It's good today. 5 minute. You see how we've got the wicks here, and then on Tesla, it's getting a bit of a bounce here. You're welcome, sir. Well, aggressive traders could probably go long Tesla for a dead cat bounce of about $7 or $8. I'm not doing it. a second. I've got a visiting dog I gotta take care of. Hey! Shut up. No. No. Be quiet. I'm on the no. I'm on the radio. Go sit down. Sit down. No. Sit. Want to welcome you then, Alan. Or Adam, I'm sorry. Got Alan on the brain. Let's see. I have a couple of things I could point out to you there. Looks like Apple's getting a little bit of a rebound here. So is Tesla. I'll follow up real quick on George Lee's question. If you look at Tesla's 1 minute chart, where it did this and then bounced and then rolled over. When it rolled over, the reason I chose to go the 310 was because I'd already in the pre-market saw that it was going to open around 305, and I picked something slightly above that price. It got up to about the 310 level and came back down to 305, and that's when I triggered it short, busting through, say, the bottom of the 2 minute, 3 minute chart here around 305, and then figured it would go close to the 300 level, and it did. So this is kind of the chart. I found Tesla by using news event, CNBC's app, and figured that was pretty good. So that's kind of, and I trade not the 1 minute, I don't trade it, but I was actually trading a breakdown of the opening range. Basically I'll use a 2 minute opening range or something. Yeah, it's doing what it's done the last few days. It'll Stocker, I totally agree. The markets will get out there and gap in a direction and then stop, kind of dead in the water. So Adam, let me post out a couple of things for you to peruse. I'm not going to answer the Skype. Okay, there's an intro to day trading. Post-trade analysis, reversal times, share sizing. Here's my tradable stocks. Okay. Those are a number of things you might want to take a look at, Adam. And let me also get the Top Gun. There's a members e-learning that goes over in detail our the day trading process and what I'm looking for, chart setups, chart patterns, trading routine, yada yada. And if you after reading all of those you have questions, please feel free to ask, and then we'll go from there. Tesla's trying to rebound, but we'll see. I'm not really hung up on that. Market's trying to recover somewhat from its gap down. You're welcome, sir. And we will be having a another members e-learning somewhere in the next week or so. I normally like to do it during regular trading hours in the afternoon. So what we'll do is I'll probably ask what would be a good day to do it. It'll probably be a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. Mondays I'm not available, and Fridays are not a good afternoon time to go. All right, let me see what Cynthia wanted. Sorry, I got a Skype message from the coder developer boss for LTA. And we've got kind of doing nothing here. If you see, we're really not getting any 2 day highs and 2 day lows. So that, and even 5 minute, we're getting some more 5 minute lows than highs. So that doesn't really bode well for really moving much of anything. Here looks like the Spider is looking like it wants to go back lower now, but stochastics RSI is still oversold. Let's do a today 3. Today 5. VIX looks like it wants to try to bottom the VXX, I mean. I'm looking to see if there are any. Looks like Integris is going, but it's up near resistance. All the ETFs, the inverse ETFs, are the ones that are moving really the most. Excuse me, I've got the hiccups. Estee Lauder, no. Just some coming off the bottom. Nothing that gives me a warm fuzzy. Celgene, CELG might be one. I'll show you what I'm looking at here. What I've got is I've got my personal items list here, and I just basically went to up change and then started to go right through them all. Nectar, nah. face plant. As you can see, the patterns really aren't very good. We're not making higher high. I've got to make a higher high and a higher low to go long. Well, let me figure out this other way. Netflix got me down percent change. Sorry. OPI going too far. Some of these are going to be a little bit too low to really be looking to short. I'm going to probably need $20 or less. Cyrus 1, wow. Looks like a lot of the REITs are getting hammered today. Rig, too small. Akamai is at a level that could be watched for a short. Let's go to the flagged. SEND, I was talking about possible a short, but it's not triggered yet. Serve looks like it's triggered a short right here. APH, maybe. Don't do overstock. No. Esgen, no. These that are in uptrends, I wouldn't think about shorting. Yeah, see like Crocs here. I'd just be thinking about a possible long after we get a buy signal after this retracement. We are getting very little movement here. You can see this in the live trade alerts. The 5-minute charts are not going anywhere. It's exactly what Stalker was telling you about the market chopping up and down. Basically, we gapped unless anybody, a stock has its own news that's causing it to move, like Tesla. Let's see. We also had disappointing economic news from China overnight. PMI came out at 945. You should have been watching that. Dipped under 50%. First time in about a year and a half. Yep, that's pretty much it. I'm going to hang loose. The spiders is trying to go higher here. There's a 15-minute chart. There's a 5. Let's look at 1 day 5 and pick it up. My stochastics RSI does say that we have got the negative momentum is pretty much pegged, but it could stay there for a while. It has more room to the upside than it does the downside, though. All right, looking at 10 o'clock, that's our first major reversal time, with the reversal times being a minor at 9:35, say the 5 minute period. As, all the people putting in their orders to open the market, and then the pros take over. Starting to get a little bit of movement here in the 5 minute highs. And what I'd be looking in here would be things like 5 minute highs for TPR, Tapestry, and then I'd look at a 5 or a 3 minute chart. It's maybe even doing a bear flag. Meritage Homes, MTH, looks like it's going a little bit. I start with the dailies. The daily doesn't look good. Let's look at the highs on Bungie, BG. Bungie doesn't look half bad on the daily. It looks like it has possible room for a rally. Let's figure out when it might have earnings, though. Tesla's trying to roll over again. We look at the Bungie daily. Earnings aren't for a while. They came out in October. January, the end of January probably is going to be the next earnings report. You'd have to be a very aggressive trader here in Bungie BG if you're swinging it. If you're day trading it, maybe a different story. You need to probably let it pull back. It's had a little bit of a run this morning. Let's look at Apple. Yeah, Apple's going back down to the lows. Too far down to short, and too close to, a little bit too late to be shorting, and a little bit not enough room. You know, at about 154.40, 154 and a quarter. I'm not going there. Spiders could do in a about 15-20 minute congestion here. Consolidation. If it breaks over 247.50, we could potentially go, that's 80. And the gap fill would be all the way up here. But let's see what happens at 248. And you see what I'm doing, Adam. You've not seen this before, but I tend to put out swing levels here, and they become my targets and entries and exits and stops. And we hit 248 on Friday, basically right here towards the end of the day, before we closed at 250. So this is pretty tough, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit on my hands for now. Now Marvell's 18-day high on 2.1 times normal volume. You see what that is? Nice rally on a 5 minute. And the daily doesn't look half bad. It's a rounded bottom breakout. And a target could be around 1760 if you were swinging it. We have to watch the 1675 level. There's almost no stock is going to be free and clear here, so we'll have to be careful. we go. I was about ready to say watch UPRO over 3360. There's a little bit of buying going on. And we got this little pop. Let's see what happens. It will pull back probably just a bit on UPRO. I was just a little bit on the slow side mentioning 3360 on UPRO. I was just bringing it up. Sorry about that, folks. The target would be around 34, which is, well, basically kind of the lows on Friday. You won't see it here. Again, I want to welcome everybody for here. If you have any questions, please post them. I'll get to it as soon as possible. In the morning, at the beginning, we trade. We have our morning market review at 9:15 or preview at 9:15 in the morning, and we'll trade for at least the first 2 hours, going from 9:30 to about 11:15 or so. I will not initiate new trades after about 11 to 11:15. It's starting to get a little bit late in the day on those. Let's look. SGen. SGen over 57.50 has a little bit of room on the daily. Crocs is kind of in the middle. Oops, so let me go moo. Watch MU over 32.40 or so. Baidu, no, daily doesn't look good. Shutterfly, well, a little extended, but it looks pretty good. Facebook's coming back from what could have been death this morning. Herbalife is still looking positive, but a little long in the tooth on the daily. Deckers in the hated little stuck in the middle. Team looked good until today, where it gapped down with the markets. Baba gap down, surprisingly. Eli Lilly, he stuck in the middle. There's our spiders. And Spider Rally, it's coming up on that 248 number. And UPRO at 34 hit target number 1. Be 40 cents. I was not long that. I was too slow. Next level might be 34.50-ish. That's what I'm saying is right here, 34.50-ish. got to continue the movement. My stochastics RSI says we have a little bit of momentum left. There was a big seller at 34.10 though in UPRO. Trying to sell 30,000 shares. It keeps moving about two pennies away from. It's a false one. It just moves 2 cents away from the current price. So somebody's playing games out there, a machine. So yeah, that's one of the problems. You got to try to figure out whether the bids are real or not. Bungie still going. Aramark, ARMK. Looks like a good rounded bottom breakout up to 31 maybe. A little extended on the intraday chart though. Let's look what LVS is doing. Las Vegas Sands is moving. I think MGM moved last week. Yep, it's moving as well. So, yeah, might need a pullback on those. So let's look at MGM here. Look at Las Vegas Sands. Release in the middle. Apple is now in the gap from this morning. The first level of resistance might be 156 half. Spiders is approaching the bottom part. 248 to 249. To just say that's 248 half. Again, trying to be patient, making sure that we don't jump all over things. Make the stocks earn our money. GRA. GRA looks like round the bottom breakout, and looks like it could run a little bit here. WR Grace and Company. It has room to mid to upper 60s. 1 second. Happy New Year, sir. I'm fine. The dogs are locked inside, so you're safe to come around. All right, you too. Bye bye. Sorry about the interruption. Had to take that one. I'm off. Yeah. So there are a number of stocks that look like they might be tradable based upon the daily charts and the fact that they are moving. MGM has room to 25 and a half or so on the swing daily. So let this one pull back a little. Let's do it today, 5. Okay, and Crocs, I'm not as fond of that one. Las Vegas Sands is a good one. Again, let it pull back a little. See, that ran for the first 15 minutes, 20 minutes or so, did pause and then kept going. Doji Continuations, WR Grace, GRA, GRA, looking good. Don't know why SGen shows that it's not moving, but it is. Serve, forget it. Serve looks like a short, really. Scana Group looks like it could possibly be a short. It probably would be $47 possible support. And Tesla did a little bit of a rally. There is a little adage out there, don't short a cult stock, and Tesla is by every definition in the book a cult stock. Some people will buy it just and hang on to it regardless of what the fundamentals say or logic will say. So you need to be very careful. We made a little bit of money today, so we're about halfway to our daily goal. EWW. iShares Mexico is also approaching around at bottom breakout territory. You might have trouble here around 42 and a half to $42 in a quarter. Sorry. Let me see what the spreads are. Spreads are pretty good. It doesn't probably move well enough necessarily. From the bottom today on a J-hook to where we are now was 30 cents. So if you want something that moves kind of slow and not going to cause you to have a heart attack, that could be one to trade. Heart attack cities would be things like SPXU and SPSX and UPRO and UVXY. This Spiders looks like it's probably going to do a pullback here or a pause. Watch and see if we break 248 on the Spiders. An aggressive trader could probably go long over 3162-ish on SPS XS. We're going to be an aggressive trade. It's not perfectly set up. I'm going to be muting a little bit here. forgot you guys were gonna bark. Muffin, baby. Come on. All right. You guys want a rawhide? Yeah. Okay. Sit down, please. Good girl. I love you. Lilo. There you go, baby. Uh, there you go, buddy. Stitcheroo. Yeah, Stu. Since in times of increased volatility or uncertainty, I reduce my goals and I take profits quicker than normally I would do under normal circumstances. And you could probably tell these are not normal circumstances. We're moving far faster and farther in magnitude, both up and down. And so trade quicker, trade smaller, take profits at the first sign of any weakness against your position. So if you're long, be satisfied with maybe half of what you would normally want. Hey, well, that's the way I do it, and that's the way I'm going to stay alive, because increased volatility can be hazardous to my wealth, and I'm going to just try to I'm going to be more demanding on the setups. I'm going to trade probably somewhere around half the position size that I would normally do. So normally if I would trade 400 shares or 4 contracts, I would use 200 shares or so and maybe only 1 contract. I'll pass up a lot of the trades that are looking okay, don't take nothing but the best. Sell at the first sign of weakness. Don't wait till you see the whites of their eyes, type of thing. So that's just the philosophy I've taken, and I think so far it's paid out great dividends here. Yeah, I've got a buddy of mine in Canada. We were talking, and he said November, December were really bad months for him, and I didn't want to rub it in that December was one of my best months. Watch for you, Pro, and the spiders looks like they're trying to curl up here on the 5-minute charts. One day 5, yeah. That looking at all on the 5 on UPRO 5-minute chart and on the spider 5-minute, those are both looking like bull flags. Tesla now is also looking a little bit like a intraday J hook of sorts. All right, we're starting to get some movement here on the LTA. Looks like here. Okay, here's the push. See the 5-minute and the 2 days are ups are both moving faster than I can see them. So if you were thinking of something like UPRO. Yep, at 34. I was talking about that kind of the bull flag pennant type thing. Seems to be working so far. We still got to get over this 248 half, 248.65 ish. We're running at a little bit of a level problem. 34.20 on UPRO to 34.50. But it's got to do some follow through to this. Now okay. I tend to trade a 3 or a 5 minute chart on UPRO, and on the UPRO, the volatility dot is 3370. 57 would be kind of low for me. I mean, do I have to let it get all the way back down to 3360 area before I realize I'm wrong? See, if I was long, it wouldn't be much below 89. Somewhere around 75-ish. Again, I don't put stops or targets right on what I call whole numbers, 0.00, 0.25, 0.50, and 0.75. If I'm long and I want to sell at 0.75, I'll probably put 0.73 and I'll probably get filled. If I'm putting a stop, if I wanted a 0.75, I'd probably put it at 0.73 to 0.72, something like that on the other side of the number. Because they will do a raid about to that number plus about 1 if they're going the opposite way. All right. Well, sorry to hear about losses, Stu, but sometimes the lessons that are most ingrained in our brain are the ones where we've experienced pain. All right, this looks like that spider is conking out here. We do have to let this candle and the next one finish. It's 247.85-ish. But you know, this 5 minute has not finished. And this candle, we could still go green again. That's one of the hardest things to do with the high volatility is waiting for the candles to finish, because if you were short, this would have went way up there and you panicked and then now it comes back down. If you're long and you bought in on the push, and it may take a big dip down before the candle finishes, which is probably another reason to go to a shorter time frame. There goes SPSX, or XS. I keep being dyslexic on that one. one looks like it's the shorts aren't working either, but we don't know. That's a 5-minute chart. I would say that we will continue to pull back on the spiders, though. One level could be around 247 and a quarter ish. Okay. And yep, we're still going higher on UPRO, or SPXS, that is, sorry. And this 3175 is kind of a key level for SPXS. Tesla, I think, is pulling back. This is kind of a key level here at 303.75. Now, I'm busy this morning. No, okay. You're gonna hurt. Blech. I'll get you some food in a little bit, but I gotta get another 5 or 10 minutes. Gotta get the guy gone, okay? The pool guy. This is kind of a tough one today. It has been tough for the last week or so. Try to pick up individual stocks that have are like Tesla and whatever, they're working on their own, marching to their own drummer, I guess. All right, it went through 303.75 on Tesla. I'm looking for 301.85 as a possible number. It's minor support. A bit spready if you were in the actual stock itself. About 30 cents, but you're on a $300 stock. I would only be trading options. And the options themselves are pretty spready as well. I'm looking at 75.45. That's 70-cent spread. So they're not all that tight. Apple on a different story. The bid-ask spreads are pretty close. Let's say get rid of those. 11 Jans, we're looking at 155. I'm looking around 160. Sorry, let me show you what I'm doing here. Going to the January monthly, 16 days out, that's the minimum I'd want to trade. And I'm looking about 160 to 157 half. And they're only a 10-cent spread. And 10-cent spread on the 160s. Get rid of the trade grid. I meant to actually do that. So, as you can tell, we trade the ETFs and some individual stocks, options on the high-priced ones. Apple looks like it's trying to rise a little bit here. All right. right, we're looking at 1036. We've noticed that between 10:30 and about 11:15, there's usually some sort of program trade that kicks off, and that will either be a buy or be a sell. We don't necessarily know which, but we do know that we're going to get some sort of rally or sell off during that time frame. And we'll just watch it. Try to be ready for it. What are you doing, Lilo? I mean, Muffin, huh? Okay. All right, let's look at some of these off the LTA scanner, like KNX, Knox, Knights, okay, Knight Swift Transportation Holdings. Probably going to be a little bit spready. Mr. Fitbit, maybe 540. I don't like it. InLink, Bed Bath and Beyond, TRP. Watch TransCanada Pipeline over about 36.50 on a swing. Be a couple of days swing. Nuance over about 13.40 or so. They're kind of tough. Grace consolidating here near the $65 level. Las Vegas Sands doing a little bit of a pullback here. It's not looking so bad as long as it maintains over 53. That one looks pretty good. Moo, okay. Crocs, okay. Shutterfly. MGM, let's keep an eye on that puppy. That one looks like a decent pullback. Wish it had pulled back a little deeper, so we'll see. 3 minute looks a little bit
Connection lost.
better. Oh, yeah, keep losing the connection on my Ninja Trader over to the guys over at Thinkorswim. Herbalife, nice good pullback. So we've got a few that are doing intraday J-hook pullbacks. Las Vegas Sands. What was the other one? I know it was MGM did and HLF. HLF daily looks a lot better too. All right, we're getting another push up in the markets here. See that on the 5 minute highs. UPRO is kind of in the hey diddle diddle caught in the middle here. Spy same. Let's look at the Qs. I haven't looked at the Qs today. Qs look pretty good. QLD would be 1 over 66.40 to 66.50. that's good. Let's, I'm keeping an eye on QLD at the moment and the Qs. I'm long some QLD from 6643. May regret that one, but we'll see. Stop is 6613, is it? Yep. Muffin, be quiet. Okay, normally I would pull 400 shares. I pulled 200 instead. My first target is 66.75. I've actually made it 66.72. Which is a little bit below where I think it might get to. It actually will have maybe some resistance at 66.65, but it'll possibly overshoot that. I am watching this Apple pretty closely too, because Apple's a biggie. Where Apple goes, the market tends to go as well. The Qs, that is. Okay, coming up towards the high of the day again in the Qs. Okay, retesting that high. High of the 3 minutes, 66.60-ish. That level has been there twice. We need to get through this. Stochastics RSI still has some room to run. No, QLD is the ultra long. Oh, why leverage? Sorry, Glenn. Sorry, I misunderstood what you were saying. More bang for buck. Whereas the Qs here, I'd have to. It's about twice the price. Well, it's more than twice the price, and it moves about half as much. That's a double-edged sword. I tend to trade the leverage ETFs. Well, not looking so good for the home team here. One could have taken this trade down in here, about 66.20-ish. pick it up that quickly. Just trying to be patient here. I'm showing the momentums on the 3 minute are pretty decent for that. The spiders is up at resistance levels again, 248.5. We need a bit of a push. I'll be watching the LTA scanner here. And now it looks like we're trying to push up again towards the high of the day. Come on, tag my first target, please. Then I'll be playing with house money. You son of a gun. Just have to be patient. This 3 minute candle hasn't even finished. Did that answer your question, Glenn? It's basically looking at the leverage and the fact that it's 66 versus $160. Yeah. It basically allows me to leverage it without even playing options. High of the day on QLD, it got bouncing all over the place. I am not getting a whole lot of motion here. Well, now we're starting to get a little bit of movement. Come on, push. Push. Breathe. Oh, dear. I'm a very impatient trader. You usually do options? Yeah, intraday options are pretty tough. You got to figure out what strike price, how much to give it, and premium, the whole 9 yards. We're getting a little long in the tooth here. If we don't get a push here pretty quick, I'm going to take 100 off the table. I lowered my target to the high of the day, 66.67. It's going to run away from me. I went ahead, took one at 66. I think it was 52. I'll have to check later on my fill. I'm basically basing this on the fact that we got up here, couldn't get over it, and the stochastic looks like it wants to roll over, but I'll hang loose. All right, I'm out. Break even on the last half. Let me see what we got there. Not a lot. Probably not even worth trading. 66.43 to 52, and then break even. So probably wasn't worth trading anything other than 400 shares. I was a little late to the party. This party, the buy signal was here around 66.10, and that went up to about there. So it went to where it should have gone. I was just late. Below 75, 2 or 3 cents. Valerie, I didn't get it, but I was looking over here, and that also was what times risk. I was long about 40, wasn't I? Yeah, 45. 45 with 25, I had 20-cent stop. So I'd want at least 20 to 40 cents profit. 40 would have been in the 80s, about 1.5 times risk. Yeah, looks like it went back up again. Should probably have the Qs up here on the side to compare. And looks like it's pushing it. It hit my target, 66.75. I didn't stay with it. I didn't let the candle finish. Well, yeah, I did let the candle finish, but it gapped up the other way. All right, so I was right in my direction and order of magnitude, but didn't have the cojones to stay with it. And let's look at about 93 would have been my target 2. We only hit 66.90 so far. And if I look at the 1 day on Qs, you see all this right around in here, just under the 154 level. And if you use QLD, you can see how it's got congestion all the way in here. Now the reason I was concerned is we were at the bottom of that congestion. Stochastics RSI was rolling over. Discretion be the better part of valor. 82.92 is my target 2. Not sure it'll make it. See how we zigzagged all the way up here, basically right in the T-line, but it wasn't all that smooth. This little candle right in here is the one that fooled me. I'm not getting any real big movements here on the LTA. So it means we're just going to kind of be grinding at the moment. Yeah, I got a little bit of a push here. Push up. And a push back. We're looking at 10:55 coming up on 11 o'clock reversal time. We'll look at SPXS. Q. And the squid's not going to really be easily for me. I don't see any great setups. We got Apple. Apple could potentially, but you know we're in an uptrend, so I want to be in the direction of the trend when I trade. I do apologize that it's been a lack of action today. but it is what it is. I am not on this in this kind of trading area. I am not going to be overly aggressive. All right, we're at 84, 85, 88, and then right back down. And getting the LTA 5 minute. Watching that. Immunogen. Yeah, it's in the gap. It's a small pricer. I wouldn't do it. Doesn't move enough. Have to buy way too many shares. Keep that on the side. AKRX. Same thing, $3 stock. Brazil. BRZU, nice 5 minute power move. This is classic. Textbook perfect. It moved from about 2670 to 2890. You be quiet. All right, QLD hit 6694, hit the target. All right, I need to step aside for a couple of minutes, and I will be right back. And then we're at 11 o'clock now. I would think you should think very, very carefully about initiating any longs or shorts at this point in time. Between say 11:30 and 1, you should 1:30 should be flat. And that's usually what happens around lunchtime. All right, and Q's and basically filled the gap. And I guess the markets have done that same as well. All right, I'll be back in just a couple minutes. Now, you need some foodies, don't you? Okay, hold on. Buddy, get up. You're going to get run over. Muffin, come on, baby. There you go. Want some foodies? stay there. Move. No. Come here. Come here. No. Stitch. No. Come on. Out you go. Out you go. I'm working. Thank you. Okay, Chris, I'm back. How do we get your TOS setup charts? Well, I think if you really want to do that, why don't I save the style and give it to you? How's that? Trying to figure out how to share just one chart. I can share a workspace. But you may not want that. Here we go. I think. Let's try this one, Chris. How about that there, Chris? I don't know why it's, not sure why it's doing that. Try it. It may be in, oh no, it's not opening mine. It's opening, yeah, never mind. Yep, that one's it. It's working fine. It has my stochastic setups, is what he see. The 3, 8, and 17 exponentials, and then I do the same variation from a 3-minute all the way up to a 6-month. You're welcome, sir. And it has the whatchamacallit, the volatility stop on it as well. And we hit 67 something. We had basically hitting the highs on Friday near the close. Wow, we hit 67.19 on that. All right, 11:10. Getting close to being able to take a break here for me. It looks like we basically retested this high from Friday. And the next high up here is about 67.50. We're still in an uptrend based on the 5-minute chart. And notice how the stochastics RSI is pegged just like it was back over here. So that's why I do not trade the stochastics RSI. I trade the candles. But I was taken out on that funky set of candles right here. Probably right there on a 5-minute, on a 3-minute it dipped lower. It all started with being in too late. UPRO hit our 34.50 target. Let's do today. Oh no, it's not. Now the Qs did a big dip here around 10:30. So did the spiders. Okay. Since then, the spiders have been in pretty much an uptrend. They did a little dipsy doodle at 34.20. But 34.20 was the level that we had over here on Friday. So this is just a grinder, really tough. No, there is the big void here on Friday, so probably should have played that one. We're on our way to 34.80 probably on UPRO. Spiders probably headed to 250. Let's see if it gets there. We're at 25 cents. And we can see from the Qs here, we got up to the lows, basically 153 and a quarter-ish. Got up to the lows, did our pause, fake breakout, pull back, dip down lower, get people short, and turn around and rip their lips off. And ran higher. This right here was kind of a fake out breakdown after a fake out breakout. Would have been tough to go along this 153.15. Now on a 3-minute, it didn't look that bad. Fake breakout, fake breakdown, continue the rally. Wow, 67.32. Got to 39. UPRO hit 475. Quote, round number. Let's see if that's all she wrote or not. Did anybody else do any trading today? We've been quite silent out there, you guys, gals. I'm going to stick around about another 15 minutes, and I'm going to take a lunchtime break, and I'll be back at 1:30. And there are no guarantees on here. We definitely, I guess there are guarantees. I guarantee to be here every morning that the market is open, if humanly possible, from 9:15 to about 11:30. And after that, the afternoons will be a little bit spotty, only because there are certain things like doctor's appointments and stuff that I might have to do during normal trading hours. But also, and primarily, mostly, that my journaling has proven to me that the afternoons are where I give money back that I gained in the morning, and especially on Friday afternoons. Some days are a little bit better than others. Friday used to be my worst day, and so Friday mornings I would usually only take the best of the best of the best setups. Now, my journaling tells me that Friday's my best trading day, probably because I'm only taking the best of the best. And let's go back and look at Tesla and see what it's done since the open. Bouncing around in the trading range, really. From the high on the bounce for about 310 down to about 300. And then we kind of stabilized between 303 and 310. And we're just in a trading range for the moment. It's almost like throwing a rock into a small pond and you get the ripples. And eventually they dampen out. Maybe like throwing it into a pool. Like the elephant jumped in the pool, made the waves, and eventually they dampen out. We're getting 2-day highs showing up here, and we're going to push it higher in the markets again. On the 5 and the 2s. It really becomes a big one when you get in the 2s. Let's look at Kohl's. Kohl's is on fire intraday. The 3-month and 6-month dailies aren't that bad either. All right, 11:21. On the UPRO 5-minute, we're getting a little bit of a trying to do a shooting star, but we'll need follow through to confirm. Okay, just for the pic that shows on that. Oh yeah, the picture is a frozen picture. It's not. It's nothing that's. If you're talking about on the URL address, I think that's just a. Right. 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 It wasn't. It wasn't my chart. It's probably just a standard pic on the background. That's what I was a little concerned with at the beginning. Why I tested it. Left a lot on the table with that QLD trade. Okay, so I'll make sure that I do a after action review, post trade analysis, and figure out where I went wrong. Allowed myself to get shaken out. It is possible that I made the right trade. Looking at it, that I traded on the candles. What I possibly should have done was looked at the Qs. Now the Qs did the same. With just that late an entry, I probably just got taken out by the pattern. Yep. Probably not a lot I could have done about it. All right, we're getting a little bit of a pullback. So are these studies? What do you mean by what's these, Chris? You're talking about? Oh, well, they're just chart setups, and they have. I have saved them, yes, under styles. So like a 5 minute. Let's go here. 5 minute. I've saved the style with all the studies that are attached to it and seen. Well, Chris, the name. Well, I have different names for everything. I normally use a standard convention of trying to say, uh, so this would be a 5 minute chart. And then I would include the patterns and then hit save. Then I do one for 15, setting up for 15, then save it as 15, 30, 60, or hourly, whatever. And then daily in 3 months, 6 months. No, there's not one in the doc folder. Nope. not in the document folder at all. The only thing in there is the volatility stop to add. Now, let us see. Now, do you want? I don't think you probably. Yeah. No, you've got the chart, and that's what you wanted, right? Or do you want the whole setup and screen? I mean, do you want my workspace? I think you asked for my chart, and I gave it to you. If you want my workspace, well, okay. First, I'll have to give it to you, and then you can import it. So right here under Setup, you do Share, Workspace. All right. All right. And then you get a all right, that's the workspace. Then what you do, you go to your main chart system, and then under Setup, open Shared Workspace, and type in the URL, or copy it. I'll preview it. Now, this preview shows a little bit different than what I've got. So I don't know why it's doing that. Right. And I don't know why that, I don't know what's working. Let me try something else. All right. See, that's not what I've got. And it's not opening it. Okay. I have no idea why it's showing the wrong preview. Did you actually get the, when you get that, do you get this blank spot where the LTA scanner is? No. It's not blank there? I would have thought with my workspace it would be blank. Is it all? Is it trying to squeeze all these things onto one chart, on one screen? That is. It's possible. Anyway, you will have to play around. It's not perfect because I've got 4 screens, and I have charts on 3 of them. Okay, so play around with it, and if you need help, give me a shout. Thanks. I'm sure you can do a wonderful job with it. All right, I'm going to take a break until about 1:30. We'll see you then.